What?
Wow, Casey's just got spaghettied all over us.
Casey Marinara.
Is that because of 1962's gone or his brand? Oh, no. You got to figure something out quick, smart. Oh, that
This
was
is
a
like
nice
the dusting
palette.
all over again.
It really is. That Marvel's just on our feels.
Welcome back to the Breakroom, Loki episode 5 of season 2. Science/fiction is now here, and whoa, what a trip through time it was. This is Inside Marvel, New Rockstars weekly Marvel reaction show. I'm Erik Voss, and here with me are Maude Garrett and Tommy Bechtold.
Hey, it's your boy Big Sauce. Keep it drippy.
Today, we're bringing back our lightspeed delivery of our after show, giving you our episode reactions, immediate post-episode thoughts. I'm about to step out because I need to do my own weird little process.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but...
You do you, boo.
Thank you.
You do
thank
your
you.
thing.
Yeah. Tomorrow on the Breakroom will be our Loki party, where Tommy, Maude, Zach, and Brandon are going to be discussing more lingering questions from this episode. All right, I'm taking a quick break from the breakdown. I banished Tommy and Maude just so I could do this ad take to enjoy all the snacks in this box myself. I'm not sharing, because if you constantly feel hungry watching this season of Loki, you're not alone. There's key lime pie, there's apple pie, there's Cracker Jacks, there's pasta everywhere. Feels like no matter what timeline you're on, there's some primo snacking to be done. But if you're looking for primo snacks on this timeline, you can't beat Boxu. Boxu is a premium Japanese snack box that works with family businesses all over Japan to deliver a new theme of authentic Japanese snacks every month. And beyond the snacks, each Boxu comes with a booklet that teaches you all about the theme and where the snacks come from, so you can have a deeper appreciation for what it is that you are munching on. The first box of any Boxu subscription is Seasons of Japan. And then after that, you receive a new theme every month with curated seasonal snacks. So in the season of Japan, I got some mochi here. I can't get enough of mochi. I'm going to eat it right now to prove to you that I love just how soft it is on my soft teeth. Because I'm like Michael Scott. I got soft teeth. Don't make fun of me, Jan. Boxu makes a great gift for any foodie you know in your life. If you want to give the gift of authentic Japanese snacks and support this channel, click the link in the description and use the code Rockstars to get $15 off your first Boxu order. All right, they're coming back, so hide it. Don't tell them. Don't tell them that I got this under the table. Evan, you're gonna eat it down there. I know you are. Also, New Rockstars is doing a live show in Los Angeles at Brain Dead Studios on Fairfax, November 16th. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So check out the link in the description for ticket info there. It's gonna be a night of trivia games, just a lot of goofing around. And yeah, you're gonna get a chance to yell at me when my theories about the Soylent Green and the TVA or Mobius being Jack have nothing to do with what happens in the finale.
God damn it,
but we'll get through it together. The venue's awesome. It's like an old school single screen theater. I believe it was a former silent movie theater. It's just like an awesome cool space.
I once was I bartended a wedding there and attended a wedding there.
Oh, very cool. Was that
It was!
Very fun. So yeah. Also, the best way you can support what we're doing right now, grab one of these shirts. Obi, we're all gonna die. It's like my favorite shirt that New Rockstars has ever put out there.
I like it a lot.
It's awesome. So grab one of these over at nerdriot.shop.
And for a reasonable price, I'll sign something for you at the live show.
What's reasonable?
$2,000?
That sounds fair. And if you want to snag a tee to celebrate the Marvels to wear on opening weekend, we got you covered there too. Check out the Flurkin tee. Also, Tommy's got another The Marvels tee, but the one with the 3 cats is really the one to get, because if you turn around on the back, there's 3 kitty cat butts, and it's so cool. So they can wave at you coming and wave by as you go.
To come.
And if I was better at wordplay, I would have.
No, you landed that one. That was great.
Love
I
to
think
see
you
your
did
flirting.
just good.
Hate to see you walk away. What?
That was the verbal version of the TikTok where the guy is trying to shovel snow and just can't stop slipping. Anyway, grabbing a tee from Nerd Riot is a great way to support the Breakroom. And click on the link in the description or just head on over to nerdriot.shop. But, let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Maude and Tommy will react to the episode. I'll be back for the discussion. It's Loki Season 2, Episode 5, Science Fiction.
Yeah! Look at him. Where is he?
He's in hell.
Oh,
Do you think that tear will come out?
I don't know.
No, he's moved his eyeballs too much now. Oh, wow, everyone's gone. Uh-oh.
They're all gonna come running through the door.
Where is that anyone? Where's that pie? Uh-oh. He's gonna zip along that timeline. He gets to go back and warn them now?
I don't know. Well, where did he just slip to?
He's gonna stop Timely from going out. Oh no.
Someone left their book there. I mean, that's just so valuable.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's him. Now he's gonna see himself.
Okay.
He's in a loop.
He's in a quick loop. Oh. Everything's spaghetti?
Uh-oh.
Dude, you gotta go. Oh no, you want to zip out there real fast.
Spaghettify it, you cowards.
What is that? Instead of forget about it?
Spaghettify it. Forget about it.
That needs to take off, everyone.
Oh, the letters are disappearing.
Oh. Were they spaghettified? Are they back?
Oh, that's Casey.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yes, it is. I believed you, but I just needed to see.
sure. Are they in the brig of a ship?
Who had the theory that... Was it you? That Casey was a Kang variant?
Yes,
You did, didn't you?
I did.
Sometimes I think if you throw 100 balls at a hoop, one
Yeah,
will go in.
one might fall in. San Francisco. Is he on Alcatraz? Awesome.
Oh.
Branch timeline.
1962. What happened that year? So this is his previous life. All right, commenters. What did Casey do to get into Alcatraz? Slow your roll, son. I'm getting a front row ticket to the drama that's happening.
Oh. He's going to everybody's spot. Time theater?
But where are they? Were they zooped back or? We're about to learn Mobius's previous life.
Yes.
I hope he was happy.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a pediatrician. Here it is. He works at a sports recreation store.
Finally.
He's so grey.
Mobius.
Oh, he's buying his book. As someone that hosts a sci-fi fantasy book club, I'm mad.
Yeah. Oh,
It was even cool in 1994 in Pasadena.
I want to read his book.
I'd read it. Or Boris, come on my book club.
Yeah.
Whose life haven't we witnessed yet? It is about him.
Renslayer, but I don't know if...
She was a guidance counselor.
Right, yeah, or principal. or
Principal?
something like that, yeah.
And therefore, it's something you might be able to do. Sure.
So there are no rules of physics, and so therefore anything applies.
It does sound like fiction.
Read more books.
Yeah. I'm going to go home and read tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a book.
A science fiction book?
Yes.
I have recommendations.
Please.
Sons of Yarn.
I'm going to go pick up a copy of Sons of Urine.
He's in the prophet role of science fiction, where the chosen one has the guide
Yes.
that knows everything to aid them.
What if everyone at the TVA is either a Loki or a Kang?
And that's it, exclusively.
Yeah.
I like anything that starts with what if when talking about this.
What if?
Oh, that's actually one of my dance moves on a wedding dance floor.
That's great.
Because if that place always exists, it's just a matter of when to land it in time.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, he has to collect all of them? Can you time slip by
Oh,
holding?
I was going to say, can he time slip with him?
If someone here could time slip you anywhere else, would you leave your life behind and go?
Yeah, absolutely. Instantly.
Cool.
Not a second thought. I'd be like, yes.
Bye.
Yep.
So long, Stink Tan. Did he bring the booklet? He wrote it.
Oh.
I would have to invent it all from
No, TVA guidebook. Come on, inside your pocket.
Sports Almanac.
There it is.
Sports
oh,
Almanac.
he's gonna look in the pocket.
Sports Almanac.
Yay!
Bum, bum, bum. There we go.
This really is the golden ticket, the holy
Yeah.
grail. Oh, bye. But which timeline is he in? Whose time path is he on?
Oh, there's Mobius.
Oh. Oh, what?
Hey.
He figured it out?
Not so fast. I had to take a break and move out when I lost my job and my wife left me.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, it's so funny that it's not top notch.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love this Voltron get the team back together kind of thing. What a shame that this episode came out after Halloween, because that's a good costume.
Yeah.
And she gets B5. I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would take it in 3 seconds, Casey.
Mm-hmm. Poor Casey just escaped prison and now he's getting sucked back in.
You can't escape what's everywhere.
It's true. Life is prison.
It's been decided that Ouroboros is the MVP, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
There's one more.
Oh, Sylvie. Yeah.
I mean, if he really wanted to be a sport, he could go back to 1896 and get Victor Timely.
True. How is he not theoretically a massive part of this? Like, that's not scary at all for a woman alone in a car park.
Right.
You know? Do you think I sound like her?
Sylvie?
Yeah.
Do people say that you do?
Yeah, they can't differentiate.
I think you sound just like her. In fact, I thought you were talking. Maude, shut up. We're trying to watch the show.
To begin with.
Without you.
You.
Not her mind.
I say that every single. I can't.
I can't not say it.
Not me. Not Hermione.
Yeah.
You.
Ron, no! It can't be!
He's going to sacrifice himself.
I don't want to be alone.
Oh, he's lonely.
See? We're both selfish. Go write yours.
No. There's impending nothing. How is she so nonchalant now?
I don't know. And he didn't drink his.
He will. If the TVA now no longer exists and you can't get back there, Casey's kind of right. Just pick a place and live it out.
Right. Oh, good song.
Now this looks
Can't
like a
you
John Hughes
see?
movie.
High fidelity.
Yeah. This episode's all set up, yeah?
Gotta be, right? Yeah, that person just disappeared.
Blah, blah, blah. You gotta run, Sylvie. Gotta run. Nowhere's safe. It's like being in a massive car wash.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to run to save her. Oh man, she was just trying to listen to a record. It just doesn't make sense that she fought her entire life. She was captured by the TVA when she was a child. She got her independence back and now she's just giving up.
Right.
Did she just want to retire? Is this it? Is this her storyline done? No, Loki's gonna come in and save her? She's got a secret temp pad? Boom.
Yes.
That's the He Who Remains temp pad.
Oh, yeah.
So she tried running and she can't run from this, huh? Sylvie, get a backbone.
Yeah.
You're fine without it.
Come on.
Come on! This is the second last episode and this is all for naught. Episode 4 was still so good. Oh, there you go. So now she's the key. Everyone's here.
We're all here.
Yeah.
The pens. Everyone in this room on the temp pad. Where'd it go?
This timeline's about to bounce, huh?
What?
Wow, Casey's just got spaghettied all over us.
Casey Marinar.
Is that because of 1962's gone or his brand? Oh, no!
No.
You got to figure something out quick, smart. Oh, that
This
was
is
a
like
nice
the dusting
palette.
all over again.
It really is. That Marvel's just shitting on our feels. It's done. All right. Well, can't all end well. Don't grab onto their. Don't grab onto. Don't stroke their body. Spaghettis. You just got 7 minutes.
I controlled it.
He just became the master of time. Now he and Doctor Strange have to fight.
Yes.
Cool.
It's about who.
Oh, it's my last one. I didn't say
damn.
it. He is a god after all. Oh my god, you know it'd be so sick? You know it'd be so sick if he decided to like choose evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like it's who he was all along.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Zung.
I will say, watching everyone get spaghettified really took me back to the horror of the dustings.
Yeah,
Right?
you had that same feeling
it's
where
like,
like
oh.
you can't do anything, you just watch them. Something's got to happen with that pie.
Yeah.
No, half of the cast in this one.
Yeah.
No Renfield, no
Ren-
Kang,
No Ren Slayer either.
Oh, sorry.
Renfield
Ren
is
Kang? No
Nicholas
Ren
Hoult. From,
What's Renfield?
That was that Nicolas Cage movie.
Good.
We're back from break. Let's get into the YouTube stuff. And we've got Maude G and Tommy B and Erik V.
Oh.
That's right, Mr. Voss in the house, in the flesh.
I gotta ask, what does everyone think of the episode?
Here's what I think. I am hungry for
Voss.
pasta.
Spaghetti.
I loved it so much. Now we'll talk about it. I just think like it was kind of the calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit slower. They probably should not have released that trailer earlier this week.
I haven't seen it.
Good.
I'm not going to. If you haven't seen it, stand with me in solidarity. Don't watch the trailer. Likely it will spoil it for us, and we want to go in blind.
I stand with Maude in her brave stance of not watching a trailer. Troilet.
I do think trailer.
A bad trailer is a troilet.
That's right.
But a troika of an episode. I don't know what the word
Oh,
troika
yeah.
means. I don't know if it works.
I love that you wanted to join the bit so bad though that you came up with that.
I think we're a troika, right?
We are a troika.
We're the timekeepers.
We're a throuple. What?
A troika is either a Russian vehicle pulled by a team of 3 horses,
Or
or a group of 3 people working together.
there you go. Nailed it. I got there.
I love that you're right.
I got
with
there.
that.
Yeah, like I think you could probably watch that trailer because I think there's a big chunk of the finale episode that is not shown in that trailer. But don't watch the new Rockstars video because we looked through other behind-the-scenes stuff, and there is other stuff like during behind-the-scenes segments, interviews with the cast and whatnot, that does show another location that is not in the trailer that Marvel released this past
Who
week.
on
So-
set said we should do interviews for this to release before the end episode in a location that isn't up until the end of the episode?
Well, I don't want to say too much. It's a location that like doesn't look too out of the ordinary in like a Loki interview type setup. So it's not like a brand new location that we've never seen before necessarily.
Yeah, but if you're new rock stars,
yeah, I mean, just
nothing gets by.
you gotta cut your trailers knowing that this idiot is on YouTube.
Yeah, listen.
Totally
Once we
right.
let Erik out of his crate in the morning, he runs around.
I do a
scooping
stretch.
up. He
Oh,
does
good
a
boy.
big. He does a
That's a
big
good stretch.
I give him his belly rubs, and then he's off to work. Bloodhounding this shit.
Can we just talk about how great of a quote? It's not about where, when, why. It's about who.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful. I think like that, I mean, yeah, it's a simple statement. It's something that we've heard before. I feel like every improv class I've taken has said that it's not about the who, or it's not about the where, or what, or why. It's just about the who. That's the most important of the 3. But I think it was such a beautiful, simple statement. I love that we got to know everyone's origin stories. I think they were fairly interesting, especially OB. His name was A.D. Doug, which has to be a Douglas Adams reference.
Yeah, right. Gotta be.
Oh man, and the fact that with Alcatraz tied into this, like, we got to talk about what exactly Loki's doing, though, like how he's able to do this. Yeah.
Just the who part. I have a thought on that, just one. And that is, I kind of love how it ties back into Loki's narcissism. It's not about anything, it's about who. And that who is me. That's why he's the titular character.
See, I read it as it's not about who in relationship to himself, it's about who in his relationship to other people. And he has to like think back to like the moments he had with these people in his own history and kind of claw his way back through his own timeline, grasping onto these spaghetti strands that are made up of their bodies.
And I thought when he was talking about who, it's because there were such high ceilings in that office and a family of owls had
Oh,
moved
yeah,
in.
that's also plausible.
When I visited Alcatraz like 6 weeks ago, guys.
Oh, really?
Speaking of birds of prey,
Oh, I'm so sorry, but they did let you out.
they did. They did. They should.
Eric was
when he-
sentenced to 2 weeks in Alcatraz.
When you said "let me out of my crate every morning," you're referring to my Alcatraz cell, guys.
We mean the Rock.
A red-tailed hawk dropped dead feet away from me.
Oh!
And I love birds so much, especially birds of prey, and like the park rangers on the island, because it's like I think a national monument maybe, or a state park. All of the rangers gathered around and they were like, "Oh, we only have like 4 of these on the island," and it's like it's sad. Like the seagulls attacked it. The seagulls overhead. We heard a huge seagull fight, and then they all swarmed a red-tailed hawk who was probably hunting in their area, and they're like, F you, dude. And then they killed him, and then he dropped dead. And I cried because it's so sad to see a majestic, beautiful bird like that die near you, but also you feel like you're in a horror film.
Yeah.
Little did I know that was the spirit of Casey / Frank.
Casey.
That was,
I wonder, now I'm so curious because like Mobius and OB.
Bonk. Sorry, the
Oh,
Mjolnir's
it is.
Oh,
It's,
yes.
you like, woo.
Oh no!
Oh,
He
no,
is-
Eric is the only one with the answers.
It's all right. We'll bring him back. I'll time slip. Eric, don't get hit by the hammer. I thought I'm curious as to now why Casey's name is Casey, because Mobius and OB, those names make sense. Why did he pick Casey when he got there?
Because he was a bad person in his last life. You don't get good things.
He's like,
handed to you.
Casey's nice.
Or he's befriended some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, he's Casey Jones.
Jonesing for some
Inspired.
Casey.
Oh man.
We got the gut you like a fish callback, by the way. Speaking of Casey from Scream, you know, they
Yes.
had that. They'll gut us like fish. You know, that's
What's
what.
a fish?
What's a fish? How did he forget? What's a fish?
You know there should have been a fish in the boat, in that
That'd be
little,
fun.
just like a little tie back that he did know what a fish was all along. But the TVA took everything from him, including what fish are.
Where a fish jumps out of the San Francisco Bay, swats him in the face, and then he falls out the boat.
Oh,
because those guys probably drowned, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think in your Alcatraz history, there was one guy who swam to the shore over by the Golden Gate Bridge. Was like just clinging to a boulder. Like but then they brought him back.
Yeah.
Oh,
what
but
did
he
Casey
touched
do?
the rock.
What
You
did
get the free
Casey do?
pass.
Like Casey, they only put like the worst of the worst in
Yeah.
Alcatraz.
Well, didn't Al Capone go
Al
to
Capone
Alcatraz?
was there. They
The
were
Birdman.
I asked chat during our live watch
The
to try
Birdman
and
of
say
Alcatraz.
he tried to say what Casey did to end up there. Did we have any answers from that?
I think bank
stuff.
fraud.
It sounds like he was a robber. He was a thief.
He didn't seem very white collar crime.
Tax evasion.
I didn't write any chat answers down, but
Can you remember
Wow,
any?
thanks a lot, Evan.
I'm trying. Everybody was just freaking out because that whole series of meeting all of those different people.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Maud's first time seeing me
He's in the
under the
table.
table?
He's better than that.
Really, I think the box is
High
really.
five. Oh
they're-
wait, hey, yeah, we
think,
got
maybe?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can work on it.
Shall we move on to the episode recap? Really quick.
Yes,
recap?
Evan, that's a great idea. We're gonna send you down some. Oh, he disappears. Damn it.
Get back in.
Evan giveth, Evan taketh away. Maud, what the hell happened in this episode?
I'm so glad to tell you. Let's do a little bit of a super quick recap. We pick up with Loki in an empty TVA. Where is everyone? Time slips as the rest of the world starts spaghetti. Oh, knowing. He time slips around to the crew, each individually, seeing Casey, real name Frank, in Alcatraz. What did he do? Bad stuff. B-15 is a pediatrician.
Dr. Willis.
So sweet. Mobius, hey, the jet skis, they came in, he sells them. And that's all he can literally talk about. That, and he has some kids that he tries to mention.
And the store seems to put an emphasis on free donuts.
Yeah.
It's a good place to work when you really think about it. And then OB is an aspiring science fiction writer who also teaches theoretical physics at Caltech. Phew, that's lucky. OB helps Loki make sense of his situation, being excited that one of his characters has come to life. Read more sci-fi, everyone. I can't stress that enough. You could save the existence of time and space as we know it.
I only read books that have hunks on the cover with ladies' arms draped around them.
I bet you learn a lot from
And
that
titles
too.
like Cabin Thrust.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I only read books that have hunks of like food on
Oh,
them. Like,
with ladies' arms draped around
with
them.
ladies' arms.
Called
And they
the
have
recipe.
titles like
Yeah, cookbooks.
Oh, that's
Claire
funny.
Sappitz has some good reading, you know.
What do you read? Let us know in the comments below. Just as they wrap their head around how to solve the problem, Loki reunites Obi with the TVA guidebook, the Holy Grail. But then he time slips away to Mobius in his everyday life. Stalker just shows up at his house.
I know, really, what a creep. You're just seeing Hiddleston looking a little unhinged.
And he's like, I know you. He's like,
This story's not gonna make any sense, but you could trust a man like me, right? Right?
He has not had a shower since he got to the TVA, I'm pretty
Right.
sure.
No one has bathed on this show. They all smell terrible.
Anyway, with that great impersonation that Mr. Tommy B did, Loki is able to convince Mobius to help him when Obi shows up, having spent 18 months working on a temp pad. Not just 18 months, but it cost him his job and his wife.
Yeah, 19 including that devastating month.
Poor Obi, can't sell a book, lost everything to this, still the MVP of the series.
Also, Mobius says his wife is long gone, so Obi
But like,
and Mobius...
how did she leave?
Was she long gone with the ghouls, or is she long gone with the girls? You know what I'm saying? Like,
We don't know, but it would explain why he's obsessed with Jet.
Is she 6 feet under, or is she 6 feet up, like in a dunking booth in Myrtle Beach, challenging people, winning a wet t-shirt contest? What's she doing? Where are you?
Where are the spouses?
Could have said anything. You could have said anything.
¿Quieres es mi esposa?
Loki gets the gang together, but when he finds Sylvie, she's unwilling to help, believing that the people were ripped from their timeline. There was no choice, even though Loki's presenting them with one now. Defeated. This is where the episode gets like a little oof.
Not
Like,
for
it was
me.
all for naught.
That's where it ramps up.
I was feeling Devo, which is devastated in Australian slang.
I was feeling dev.
You want to just shorten it a little bit more?
Yeah, that's Rochester for devastated. I was
Okay.
dev.
I was feeling D, which is Duval.
Oh, come on, Jag Nation. 5 in a row. Let me hear you.
Is it sport?
Yeah, Duval's Jacksonville. You're referring to Jacksonville Jaguars, who had a
Also,
real
that
lucky
guy in that
season.
insane costume has a name. It's like King Jaguar or something like that. I gotta figure out. He's like
Defeated,
branded.
Loki's about to hang up the hat before Sylvie comes in after. If you wish to talk sport, I will cut back in.
And then the dragons
She's about
started
to hang up
kissing.
the hat before Sylvie comes in, seeing the total spaghettification of her world, saying that she's ready to help. But then everyone starts spaghettiing, even Loki. Now, Tommy B, you said this was super reminiscent of the dusting that happened.
I did. Big sauce over here. I gotta tell you, I was really devastated watching everyone dust. This time, in lengthwise. I'm choking on my
Cut back
own.
to
Tommy's
me.
dusting.
Cut back to me. He needs to choke.
I don't feel so good.
Oh, it was a bit. You were acting. I was trying to help you.
I was
through it.
merely acting.
You got me.
Proud SAG-AFTRA member here. One day stronger, one day longer. Stand the line. Hold the line!
That's because I had chocolate and I was choking on the chocolate.
I was
earlier.
choking.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay. But through sheer will, Loki is finally able to control time slipping, willing everything back to his control. It's not about the why. It's about the who. And he can rewrite the story. He time slips back to the Loom observation deck where this episode began. This episode was, in fact, its own time loop. And then credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maude, quick question about sci-fi.
Yeah.
When you're reading those, do you prefer dragons or goblins?
Well, you're talking about fantasy.
Okay. Let's talk about the big question.
Was that
It's not about the why, it's about the who. Loki can control time. How does he do it?
I'm just like, actually.
I think the answer to the question is in the title of the episode. It's called Science/Fiction. We got to go back to that scene with Loki and with Obi, and their, his whole premise is that with fiction, it's about the why, and then so Loki is going beyond science and fiction to
Science
something
being the what?
to reality. I think science is being the what, yeah. But also you could say science is also kind of the where and the when, right?
Sure.
Because time is kind of a
E equals.
yeah, Yeah, right. There's various physics equations that involve time equaling things, being ratios between things.
And good, fast, cheap, choose 2. The the hustler triangle. Good, fast, cheap, choose 2.
This whole episode is really just about the power of story and the power of narrative. And the most important thing in narrative is, I believe it was Aristotle or someone who said, like, the classic story is, who am I? And that's really been the core root myth of Loki, is a story about identity.
And we really don't know, because Loki has changed so much from the Loki of Avengers 1 to the Loki of Loki Season 2. That character, those are 2 completely different people. Or so it seems.
Well, Loki at a bar, trying to take the shot, was lonely.
Yeah.
He had a moment of vulnerability,
Yeah.
which I really liked, because Sylvie kind of needs a little bit more vulnerability. She's sort of just given up a little bit and wants to retire.
I'm interested to see how that character is written in episode 6, because it feels like she's become a complete nihilist this year. She's just like, I just want to sit here and make the old fried apple pies that McDonald's used to make.
And then listen
go
to
to my
records.
record store and sit down and chill, get my wolf cut in my hair and look really cool and chic, and then that's it. I don't want to deal with any of reality or anything of any importance. I don't want any stakes anymore.
Yeah.
I just want Big Macs.
I think the show has not really done the best job with the character Sylvie this season. I'm missing Sylvie this season. I'll admit that. And it's not been a perfect season of TV for sure.
It's been really great though.
But I really hope that this finale episode solves that by just having Loki realize what he cares about when it comes to Sylvie and clawing his way back. I mean, we were talking about stories like Lost and how Desmond in the Constant episode, which is one of the best episodes in TV of all time, and Desmond has the same realization that Loki has this episode, is you need your constant. You need your one other person out there, your soulmate, and that's the person that grounds you in reality and keeps you going. And
What
Your
do you
purpose.
do? What do you do if you have 2 soulmates and you work with them and you don't know how to tell them?
a troika.
Evan, Dashiell,
Oh, god damn it.
run away with me.
So close.
John,
so
sit
close.
down.
I have another question that I'd like to talk about. This is one of the first episodes that we've seen where we haven't really had the antagonist characters in the episode. Time itself was like, and the looming timeline was the antagonist here. How was it having no Renslayer, no Brad Wolf, no, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there was such internal conflict at the TVA with that not being a part of this at all. Did you kind of like that, or did the episode feel a little more two-dimensional?
I missed Miss Minutes for sure. Miss Minutes, I think, is the real villain of this season, and I think we, especially the way episode 4 ended, I think we needed her to come back in some way. But this just makes me even more fearful for what form she's going to take in the finale, right? Because I think she's the villain. I think whatever she represents is like the villainous force. I don't think Victor Timely or even He Who Remains or Renslayer or, I mean, Brad's a piece of shit, but I don't think they're really villains. I think they are just kind of factors of the circumstance.
Sure.
I did miss that antagonist. I think this was really just kind of reminding us of the emotional stakes of the characters, what is really propelling them. I think, like, you know, the writers on this show, Benson and Moorhead, who, by the way, cameoed as the other 2 prison escapees.
Oh, that's
so they
awesome.
were great.
They were the directors who really were so involved, along with Eric Martin, in the season 1 finale, carrying into season 2. If you look at behind-the-scenes photos of Michael Waldron and all these writers' process and structuring the season, they use Dan Harmon's story circle, which is based on the Joseph Campbell monomyth. Joseph Campbell, better story theorist than he was person. But if you can chart out the 8 steps of every circle, which it starts with you, need, go, search, find, take, return, change, or something like that, I think. So that's just kind of the classic story. And you can look up other videos where they go into those story beats. I think this is taking that in reverse this season, where Loki has found, he has taken, and now we are back into the go and need in you. So we're need in you back at the beginning, and we had this whole conversation with Sylvie where she's like, what do you want? And then Loki, she's taking that kind of like back and forth Socratic method to figure out what he wants, what he needs,
and I
is
wonder,
to not be alone.
Yeah, well, yes, and I think that admission finally, even though she can't immediately process it, I'm sure part of her inability to kind of lock into working with Loki or having any kind of relationship with Loki is her not trusting what he's saying, and him not being able to admit what he wants. So when he finally does admit it, it's like, okay, well, now there is kind of a bit of a connection. So
well, the whole of season 1 arc was essentially her wanting to take down the TVA.
Right.
So with there being no TVA and Loki showing up going, you need to work with me to help figure out and solve the TVA and fix it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, dude, that was never my goal.
Yeah.
I got everything that I wanted out of it. So I think she did kind of want to slink away and reclaim her life that was taken away from her by the TVA when she was a child. So that kind of does make a little bit more sense. I would have loved to have seen more in this season of Loki and Sylvie being a little bit more of a yin and a yang. So I think Loki's so desperate to try and fix, whereas Sylvie was so happy to sort of destroy and to walk away. I think we just needed a little bit more, like, if Loki's bottom line of who he is that he's lonely, then Sylvie needs to be, more fulfilled?
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I
you're
mean?
bringing up some good points, Maude, because I feel like Sylvie in season 1 was just more interesting to watch. She was a more active character. We knew what her mission was, and we were kind of rooting for her to succeed.
But you had a constant buddy up. It was either Mobius and Loki or Loki and Sylvie. So there was always that sense of companionship in each episode. And I just don't know, because they're trying to get the team back together. And at one stage, Tommy, I was like, yeah, we're going full Voltron here. And then stack it up and go, which I liked. But I think because we were looking backwards at their previous lives so much, we weren't really looking forward. But that's what you're saying with the way that this season's going. It's going in very much a bouncing around order.
There was, Eric Martin did an interview, I believe, with Variety or Hollywood Reporter, where he talked about his process structuring this season. And he said that he had one secret rule that he and the writers used to guide them, and he didn't want to say what that rule was because he said it would spoil the final 2 episodes. But I think that rule is that, like, everything is not necessarily everything that we see Loki go through in the TVA is part of its own timeline that can be reversed back through. So I think the idea is that Loki is on kind of a circle, and that his rule is we're gonna work our way back to like the events of the season 1 finale.
In this season 2 finale?
That's what I think.
like that. That's
And
a
I think
lot
that's
of
the
fun.
rule, that we're in kind of like a two-way street Groundhog Day cycle kind of thing, where like so it's kind of confusing because we have the sacred timeline that shows the ground history that we're all in, and the branch timeline, right? But there's like kind of this other dimensional space of time flowing within the TVA,
Yes.
which is supposed to be in its own neutral space, but no, it's actually in its own stream that Loki can swim downstream and upstream on. And I think that was Eric Martin's rule. We'll see next week, I guess, but I think that's what's gonna be revealed.
The only thing I'm a little concerned about is that I personally feel there are about 15 minutes that we could have shaved from this particular episode in terms of what actually happened, and I just don't wish that 15 minutes could have been used in the finale to tell a stronger story. Because this was episode 5 out of 6.
Yeah, I think compared to season 1's episode 5, I prefer season 1's episode 5.
do
I love the setting of the void and all the crap they put in there. I love the big battle with Goliath and Richard E. Grant. You know, to me that was a more interesting mystery box, whereas this kind of felt like maybe it was because I saw that trailer, so I knew we were going to see Jet Ski Mobius, and I knew we were going to see Dr. B-15. But I still really like the emotional beats of this. I think maybe the reason I liked season 1, episode 5 more is it did just have a shit ton of Marvel Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful. But
Yeah.
even
So
though
true.
they introduced a slew of new characters, technically, all the Loki variants, and a new location, I think it progressed to the story enough because Mobius's direction had changed. He'd stopped protecting the TVA and learnt that it maybe wasn't all it seemed. Like, we had so much more plot progression, even with all that new stuff. In this one, it just kind of felt like we got more depth of the characters, but it didn't progress the story at all. It almost scrubbed it clean and then tried again.
I really like that beat where they were just hanging out in OB's office, which absolutely is the same set of the RNA department. I don't know if we've talked about that, but let's actually table that because we should talk about did we see the origins of the TVA in this Southern California
Where it all
Caltech
began.
man cave in the woods.
In 1994, I believe.
Yeah, 94. These beats where Mobius is trying to tell, or Dawn is trying to tell Dr. Willis the merits of buying a jet ski, and Frank is talking to AD Doug about like whether they can go to the Grand Canyon. I would have liked more of that, and rather than that just being like small talk, I would have liked if there were actual stakes between those characters, like if there was some conflict between them, or if there was some like they're all trying to work on something together. Like I felt like they were just kind of tabled, like they were gathered and they weren't given anything to do.
And there was again time to have that breathe a little bit more, but I just don't think the time was used so well. And also they came from different decades.
Yeah.
I mean, is he not fascinated by a 1994 computer when he came? When Frank came from 1962, we didn't have any assimilation.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of sort of like what did 1962's sort of like ethics or anything that was happening. How did it just was a little bit for me a little bit one-dimensional, where he wanted to steal things, and I understand he'd just gotten his life back for the first time, but. That he was only offered sort of like one bit instead of like a whole arc, like a whole story.
Yeah, there was something left on the table for sure. I mean, we know Dr. Willis, aka B-15, came from New York in 2012. What happened in New York in 2012, folks? Like, we could have had just the sound of a Chitauri flying past the window.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't about that, but like, why would you put it there? I mean, 2020, I understand 2022, maybe we're the only people who care about the fact that 2022 in the MCU is when the blip was probably at its worst, or maybe on its healing phase. But that neighborhood didn't look as crappy as like the San Francisco neighborhood that Scott Lang was walking through. So what's the deal?
Right.
Marvel, why do you hate San Francisco so much?
Because it's a trash city. Just kidding, guys. I love
beautiful.
Love San Francisco.
Is Evan going to pop up in the table?
I could. Before we get to some final episode thoughts here, I did want to ask one question that I do think people will be asking tomorrow. Is why do you think that Loki didn't include Victor Timely or a Kang variant in this like roundup of the gang?
Because he hates him.
That is a great question,
It is a very
because
good
he
question.
is trying to assemble everyone who was in the loom deck right there in that one crucial space. When everyone had disappeared, he was trying to build it up again. Was it because it was after Timely had gotten spaghettied and that's the time that they're trying to rebuild? But I would say that going back to the World Fair would have been a really smart part of this episode. So
I kept waiting for him to do that, to be like, maybe debating, like, do I want to go back and get this guy, or did we already figure out that essentially he's like
redundant.
The idea of it is good, but it's not really it's not going to work. And
Maybe Loki, it just comes down to the matter of who. He feels a genuine friendship with these people.
True.
Yeah.
And this maybe is something that the season didn't do enough of. Like, Loki has kind of been on the same side of this struggle with B-15, aka Dr. Willis, but have they had a lot of time to like get to know each other as much as like he and Mobius and he and Sylvie have?
Right.
And
Probably not.
B-15's main thing was against Renslayer. Like, that was the main point. Like, she wanted to defy Renslayer's rule.
Right.
And then she kind of had a little bit of beef with X5. So that's kind of all that's really happened.
Yeah.
But I think Loki, this is L1130, and this version of the character did not get activated until he was extracted from the sacred timeline, and that was so traumatic for him that was a formative experience, being taken out of his life and dropped in the TVA. And so he just sees an immediate kinship with other people who were taken from their lives and dropped in the TVA as employees working at different levels. So maybe he doesn't see Victor Timely as having gone through that experience, because Victor Timely was just some kind of Kang variant that is part of the problem.
Sure.
But I think he views these other people as like part of his solution, other pens in the mug. I buy it. I think it's sweet.
I do too.
Well,
I do too.
Timely didn't spend enough time in the TVA. He got a hot chocolate and then he was spaghetti. So
You got to give him another hot chalk.
He just wanted some hot chocolate.
As long as he gets a hot chocolate with marshmallows in episode 6, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Are we going to see Timely or any Kang?
Yes. I think we have to. I think they knew before the season that he was going to be in 3 episodes. So we've seen him in 2. So we need to see him in 1 more. Can we briefly talk about this whole idea that 80 Doug's Caltech man cave in the woods, whatever this warehouse is, which we were talking in between, might be part of the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, that's connected to Caltech. And Dashiell was telling us that like down there near the Pasadena area, they do have these kind of remote spots where they were doing like jet experiments, jet engine building, other stuff that like NASA would use to build these jets to send astronauts into space, which I hope that is the case. I think it's really cool. But this is the same set as the RNA department in the TVA. So is that the origin of the TVA in 1894?
And it just grew outward.
There is
from
no
there.
origin, Eric. It's an Ouroboros.
It's
The
always
start
been
is the
there.
beginning, which is the end, which is the beginning, which is its current.
But
But that's amazing that you say that, because he got visited, but that's only after Loki had gone to the end of time and was able to time slip back. So you are seeing the origin, but it couldn't have happened. It's kind of like with the TVA handbook in Victor Timely. That also is a sense of the Ouroboros as well, where it's like you have to go forward to be able to plant the thing from back there to make it work.
yeah, I mean,
But I think that's also his aesthetic.
yeah, I think that's just his look. I think wherever this guy goes, he's just going to build it to kind of remind him of his man cave. But he also said that like Loki was one of his characters come to life and seemed to know everything that he was going through. And for a second, it seemed like this is a stranger than fiction scenario.
Right. Yes.
Where Will Ferrell realizes that he's a character in Emma Thompson's story, and then but that is essentially what we all are on He Who Remains
Yeah.
timeline. He wrote a script, and
He
we're all
paved.
characters
He
in it.
paved the way for us.
Yeah, so this
Every
is
decision we've made.
this is what I mean by like Obi is the original He Who Remains. I think he wrote the story that all, but I don't think that the TVA is necessarily. I mean, do we think that they're saying that maybe the TVA is something that exists in his imagination? Because Brad Wolf in episode 2 was like, none of this is real. Is that what they're?
I thought that none of this was real is because it didn't exist in a particular time and space on the timeline.
Yes.
But I had her thinking about it. Is The Sons of Euros his book? Is anyone going to actually read it? Because if that's about a TVA, I mean, he would have said something, but maybe it's called like, the DZ.
D's.
Hey.
Delta Zeta.
Hey. No, I'm trying to get TVA, but it rhymes, but different letters.
D.
It was hard to do on the spot
D's.
to make my point.
I just can't stop thinking about D's.
Don't. I know what you're doing with that.
Duval.
All right, Evan. Do we have any questions from our live chat audience?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions today.
Okay, well,
we're running short on
parcel
time.
them through.
I know we're running short on time, so I'll ask one or two. And come back tomorrow at 3 p.m. on
Oh, for my
Twitch
birthday party.
For Tom's birthday party. And also we'll be, doing some lingering questions, and we'll pull a lot from
But
here
mostly
as
my
well.
birthday party.
I think this question's going to come up a lot. Why do you think that
Stinker.
Loki and Sylvie are the only ones who remember what's going on?
Because they're gods.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's godlike magic. I think they experience time. I think gods experience time different than fleshy.
Sylvie didn't eat the pie.
Oh, you think it's the pie?
I don't, but I like just putting it out there.
Loki did eat the pie,
He
though.
did. He ate it.
Yeah.
But it's been his constant viewpoint.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that the two of them are anomalistic variants that break whatever this matrix is. That there's something specific about Loki variants. Like, I don't know if Thor was in there or if Valkyrie were in there. They remember as well. I think it's specifically Loki's kind of they break the code.
Well, we are visiting their timeline before they were inducted into the TVA. Sylvie had gone through all of that and then chose a part on the branch timeline to then live. So she's technically still in a linear progression by going back. I think that's why. Because you're not finding 9-year-old Sylvie who was taken by the TVA when she was a child, because she lived her whole life in the TVA. So she's now on the other side of that, whereas everyone else were looking at before their time in the TVA.
That's true, yeah.
You're welcome. She
Yeah.
said something
Pretty
smart.
good.
Thank you.
Pretty
Says
good.
that I am also a god.
I think the other four prunes
Works for me.
But I think Sylvie, from the moment she was going to spaghettify, she used He Remains Master Tempad to get out of that record shop. So I think Loki's time slipping is connected to that Tempad. I think she's sparing him, or the fact that she's using it is causing some glitch with her variant. So that's why the two of them were not spaghettified
temporal weaving.
when the radiation
Because
hit
they
the
have the
moon.
same temporal aura.
Yeah, I think so.
So that question comes from a lot of people, but the last one I saw was Kobe-Wan Kenobi. So thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. All right, so then last question here from Bummin' with Bo, who is asking, could the TVA theoretically exist on its own branch timeline? And, would Loki be able to do everything that he wants to do by, separating the TVA off?
Interesting. I think I'd always theorized that it was like a pocket dimension. But
Yeah, I always thought it was separate. That's not particularly on a timeline or all timelines. It exists separately. It's at the end of time. Yeah.
And at the beginning of time.
Which is also the end of time.
And as we know from the Batman Forever soundtrack, the end is the beginning is the end. And the beginning is the end is the beginning. And those are two Smashing Pumpkin songs from that soundtrack. But you know what else is on that soundtrack? Kiss from a Rose.
Used to be a great time on the sea.
You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high.
We just got dinged. Did you know
that when it snows, my eyes become a light, and the light that you shine can be seen. Baby, I can pay you to a kiss from the rose. All right, can we end it there for crying out loud? That's it for this episode of Inside Marvel. Reminder to subscribe to all 3 channels across the new Rockstars network. Follow him at E Voss. Follow her at Maude Garrett. Follow me at Tommy Bechtold. Follow the Breakroom on Twitter, Twitch, and of course Instagram at BreakroomNR.
Grab one of these He Who Remains. We're all gonna die
look
shirts.
at this cute little Marvel shirt.
we are all gonna die?
We are one day, but let's live it up till we do.
And you know what? Before we die, let's live. Thanks for watching. Bye.